Paladins Battlegrounds will enable you to do so beautifully. Hitting the ground, immediately we see Joe hop on his mount and get straight to the loot.
And he gets himself a green. Let's see, he's got 3 greens at this point. Those are very low-level loot.
Those are base-level items.
Base-level items. They don't provide that many stats, but they're better than nothing. Past greens, you will then get blues, which are about double the stats of the greens.
Okay.
Past that, you get the purples, which are again about double the stats of the blues.
And there we see that right there. Joe's picked up a blue. It's same stat as his previous boots.
And then past that, you will get legendaries, which are again more than double.
Fight? I think I hear a fight going on, Joe.
Already, right? There are people fighting him.
Uh-oh, Joe's going for a big flank here. This could get ugly for this Pip. Trying to retreat up the stairs. Weightless is popped, but he's run straight into Joe. He doesn't realize what's happened.
Oh,
there's chickens running all around, and as Joe cleans up the squad, Eris, the hell are chickens doing in the battleground?
Well, you know, when you die, this is fantasy land, and you turn into a chicken first. And you can be revived from a chicken. Your teammates can revive you at that point.
So down but not out is the chicken state.
The chicken state is down or not out. You slowly bleed out.
Okay.
So that means that if nobody revives you the next, let's say 30 seconds or whatever time it may be, you will still perish. But if you do get revived, you can come back from the chicken state and
get back in the action, get back in the looting here. You're seeing
still looking for more loot.
Red arrows pointing down, green arrows pointing up, beige arrows, and a recycled symbol there. So that's just a quick way to tell between an upgrade, a downgrade, or a side grade for that respective slot. If you have to loot in the heat of battle, like we saw Joe do, he actually hot swapped his weapon out to double the stats. He picked up a blue instead of a green and went back to fragging. See, those are both red arrows pointing down, meaning downgrades for their respective slots.
He still has no epics, and they
Joe is off to a much worse start than he typically is.
Yeah, and they haven't gone after legendaries yet, which I'm surprised at. If you hit the mini-map, a lot of times you will see a spot with a legendary. Now, there are more people playing today than there were yesterday, so it's going to be harder to get some of those items.
They're learning.
Yeah, everybody knows to go for the legendaries now, so it's much harder to get them.
T-Road and one of the...
The Zeppelins do drop once every minute.
Okay.
So legendaries are readily available, but you do have to find them. They are usually a strong point of contention because everybody can see where they're dropping. And there's
ooh, this man's got himself an epic, but he does lack a boot slot. And you're seeing 50% max health as well as lifesteal coming through. So not one, but 2 stats once you get to that epic tier of loot. Interesting stuff there, interesting combinations, and so
70 people remaining. We've got 20 or so people killed.
68
so far. One thing you do have to remember, for those of you that do play Paladins now, this map is about 300 to 400 times the size of a normal Paladins map, and there's a lot of area to explore. This is an alpha stage, or it says pre-alpha, which means that we're still populating the map a lot more and doing various work to get it to where we want it to be.
Ooh, they're hunting down that little purple chest icon on their map that has just appeared.
That purple chest icon is a legendary drop. It usually draws a lot of players to it.
Quick loot, double check. Joe doesn't need anything from that box.
I think the expression might be flies to honey or something like that. Is that
like moths to a flame.
Like a moth to a flame. That's actually a much better expression because it is a dangerous area. You come too close to it, there's usually big fights over it.
And we'll have to see that.
Now Joe just showed us, we looked down at the map, that was literally the size of an entire one of the maps in the Siege. Those building sets that you saw.
That was one of the building sets,
that was one of the building sets.
That was part of the
and
fish
there's
market
the Zeppelin. There's the Zeppelin in the back.
There it is. Joe spotted it out. He's running after it. He's calling for the group up. Yes, follow me, help, help. He's going to hit him with the VGS. Mark the map. Actually, wow, that dropped really close to them. So as soon as Joe crests the hill, he and his squad are going to be able to hop into this legendary chest and see what it's got for them.
And there's usually a purple beam that comes out of the chest.
There it is.
So obviously, there it is.
What does that mean?
That noise is the fog converging. Are they going to let Joe have it? No, somebody else took it.
Snap.
Too late, Joe. Too late.
It was probably Bitey.
Too late. Oh, he wants to swap
Swap
loot?
it, noob. I am Joe. I am the primary. And talk about that, though. There is some strategy behind who gets what in Paladin's Battlegrounds.
Now, you could have different strategies. One would be take your best player or a particular type of class that you think is going to dominate using this particular group comp and provide them with all the legendaries. Or you could just be greedy and keep them all for yourself, whoever gets there first.
Exactly. So we're looking at a bit of a different comp. Joe's played with a balanced composition every time. He played some long range. He played some short range. He played by himself. But this time they've got Bitey driving the back line. They've got 3 frontliners. So depending on what they find in this chest, say it's the weapon slot, it's going to provide damage, lifesteal, anti-heal, wrecker, damage to shields, that type of effects. Maybe that is best suited for Bitey, but if it was something like a chest piece that's going to give additional health, lifesteal, increased healing from other players, maybe that is a little bit better for Joe as he holds down the front line.
Now, I do have to say, for the most part, you want to keep those legendaries.
They're not going to be easy to let go.
Maybe if you have a tank, you don't want to give him the 100% extra damage legendary, and you want to give that to your DPS.
Wow, look at that. 50% max health. The Jacket of Glory also providing 1,000 health on a kill. So kill to heal 3 1/3 essentially is what Joe's rocking. And we talked about the stats, how they work on the items. The base tier, which is green, that's the common item. That is the lowest. That's the starting point. They're going to give you 1 stat. Blue will double that particular stat. Purple will further increase it as well as add 1 new stat. And then hopefully if we can get a legendary on Joe here, we'll be able to see what that item will provide.
There's another legendary. You see that purple beam in the sky?
There it is.
That's another legendary. Now it might be attracting another team. And
quick peek around.
Let's see how fast they grab it away from Joe. Yep.
Bitey went right in there and he scooped it.
Bitey knows what's going on.
I hate you.
This is becoming a standard game.
But frankly, that is exactly what we're going to be expecting. Uh-oh.
The fog is in. They better get out of there.
They got to get going. Thank God they have their mounts. There's a Zeppelin. But they are on what is called the fast side of the fog, depending on where the next play zone is actually marked. 1/2. See, up there on the other side of the circle, that's the slow side as the fog is actually closest to the new play zone. They are on the far fast side, so they have to hop on their mounts here if they want to escape certain doom. I also noticed Joe's missing some health, and he's not getting out of combat regen while on his horse.
While on your mount, you will not regen health, but if he drops off the mount, he'll start healing again.
Wow, so you can't... Man, I just got to say, more and more, I'm liking all of these things that are incentivizing aggression. They, you know, are definitely neglecting that passive play. You can't just run around for the entirety of the match and expect to survive. You'll slowly get chipped down.
There was a battle somewhere around here because there's some chests in the open. That usually means a battle, and sure enough, there's another team.
There it is, Joe and the boys. Bitey looking to engage. They've got 1 Ruckus up on the hill. Cassie is well firing. There's a Pip up there as well. Fernando's still pretty healthy. He's going to be pushing the issue here. Joe and his squad have already found 2. He doesn't want to remain stationary for too long if he can help it. Fernando.
This is the other side. This is the other side of the team.
This is, no, this is still on their team. They're pushing up closer, though, to actually the Cassie. This Ruckus is pinned.
Right.
It looks like a 3. They've got 1 teammate straggling. Somebody needs to get in this fight. One of the other Ruckus players. They're falling pretty low there. These guys may have just claimed some of the loot. Fernando, 900 health. He's going to be put into the chicken state, down, but not out. Joe has lost one of his teammates now. One of the Ruckus is being taken down. It's just Joe and Bitey left alive.
But he did revive him.
Joe gets him back up. This Fernando, he's going to get out of the combat, get his regeneration pulling. They'll have another chance. One of their teammates just lagging a little bit too far behind out of this fight. Bitey's about half HP. There's the Hexafire from the top rope, but it doesn't connect on him much. Nice job. Fernando has baited in this other Ruckus player. Bitey doing his best behind Joe to try and win this fight. They've gotten a couple of easy frags, but this is a much harder fight. They've lost their Fernando. 2 players remain. This was a 4v3 originally, but Joe and Bitey, they are not liking this fight. Joe's calling for the retreat. But I don't know if Bitey's going to be able to get out of there in time. He looks like he might be committed to this fight. Bitey at about 60% or so HP. Joe has gone full rogue. He has abandoned Bitey, and that is just rough.
This is the team they're fighting.
It is Bitey turned into a chicken, taken down, and the captain of SK already falling. 25 players remain.
Well, this is the other team.
This is the other team. They just took down everyone.
Joe left. Now, here's the thing. The other team was more balanced. You notice they had a Pip, probably
They did. They had heals.
They had some heals on them.
It's a risk.
In this particular format, you probably want to have some of everything.
Oh, baby, Joe. We've seen him in this position before, cold and alone.
Now
His
you will
team
be
no longer
able to
with him.
play this in some additional formats, like a two-man
Okay.
team. So there will be different styles of gameplay to it due to the number of players that are on.
Joe is just not enjoying the luxury of the loot he's had during his two-time back-to-back World Championship run here in the Expo Hall in Paladins Battlegrounds. And Ayers, this is not a separate client. This is not a separate download. This is just another mode in Paladins.
It's free to play, and it's just a mode in Paladins. So all of your skins will work on it. Any cards that you've gotten will work in it.
Legendaries, loadouts, things you're used to seeing. And there's a nice shot. We've got this squad. They've cleaned up 3 already. This actually, I believe, is the squad that took down Joe. And Joe's still alive, but Bitey and that squad did fall to the wayside. 2 epics for this Cassie right here. Looking for the shots. He's got 4 frags. Nice cleanup from him. They're well within the play zone. Joe's just got to play this one slow. And he's basically praying and hoping that when this gets down to the wire, he can either get lucky, swoop into a fight that's going on between 2 other teams. But if he runs into the 1v4 situation that he did yesterday, I just don't know if he'll be able to pull it out.
Well, what he needs to do is look for teams that are fighting and then help them fight each other and clean up.
Ooh, this is a nice little fight going on here. This is the revive state. So as long as this chicken holds still, your teammates can hold R and press and get you back up. Pip's going to get up. He's going to hop in right back into the action.
And there's back to Joe in the wilderness.
Joe in the wilderness riding around. And he getting it, just looking for that legendary chest. That's a purple beam, meaning it's unlooted Joe. He's going to have to get geared if he wants to have a chance.
I think there are some other players there. There might be just one, though. Maybe he can do a fast swap.
He can.
Can he do the fast swap?
He's going to go
somebody already took it.
Epic.
Oh, if he can take down this person, he'll probably get the legendary from them.
They have it. Looking for it.
Oh,
Joe's.
Nice missiles.
This is probably a pretty favorable range for Joe to fight at, as well as being uphill. Willow, a projectile-based character, but she is really taking it to him. 3,200 HP, about 50% of the way there. And Joe's not going to be getting that out-of-combat regen. I think he realizes this. Chooses to dismount, but he's running into some more trouble. He's got to get downhill. He's going to try to mount up around this tree. If he can get downhill, clear line of sight, he'll do it.
Run, Joe, run.
Onto the horse once again, but hit scan. Ruckus is going to be able to take him down, or at least off his mount from a long distance. 20 players remain, and Joe running out of room to work with.
And we are hoping to let everybody start testing this in about 2 months from now.
Somewhere during the first quarter, what I think we heard in the keynote. This is Ruckus outfitted, a little heavier than Joe. He's got a full team around him. And that's going to prove very useful. He's got his ultimate available as well. And talk about how the ultimate economy works in this game mode as opposed to a traditional Paladins PC match. Are they going to be charging over time passively, or do you have to engage in combat to get these ultimates out?
To get the ultimates, you have to fight. Now, you see Joe actually built up. No, that's not Joe.
That is not Joe. That is the team that killed him.
That's the team that killed him, and he has an ultimate ready. You typically only get 1 or maybe 2 ultimates if you even last 25 minutes of the typical match time for this. There's 19 players left, and it looks like this is a full team. There have been a few, since we've shown this mode at the show here, there have been several teams who have been playing nonstop, just about.
Grinding, waiting
and
for the opportunity.
They know what to do at this point.
Joe does not have his ultimate. He's got this Sarah's poked pretty low. I like his chances here. He's running out of HP. Joe!
You know, it was a good try, but there was just too many there. And
oh, God, and the slide, the corpse down the mountain.
That was the end of Joe. Maybe next match we'll let him pick whatever he wants.
Utter humiliating defeat. But that's the beauty of the mode, Erez, is that the 8 champions they have this round, it could be a completely fresh batch in the next.
Every match, it's 8 random champions, and therefore you're going to have a different experience each time.
Maybe they'll be looking to form a little bit of a different composition next time around. They went for a 3 front line, 1 damage. So they didn't have a lot of mobility to work with. They didn't have any sustain. Frankly, they just got a little bit split up at the start. If they had engaged as a unit.
Yeah, I think if they had the 4 people there fighting that initial fight, they could have taken that.
I think they could have
and
as well.
They especially needed, whoever had the legendaries there, needed to They needed to pull through. Now, we don't know what the legendaries were because they picked them up and left. So it may have been just purely defensive legendaries, which they should have given the tank at that particular point. But if it was plus 100 damage, that should have gone to the DPS.
Reloading. One frag. This squad's found their first. They have the mother load. That is a big bad damage legendary. 100% additional damage, as well as having the effects of what is essentially Wrecker 3 in the traditional item store. This poor Ruckus just lost a teammate. Convergence was just used by this Sarah. She's sitting either at or not even. I mean, I guess she's literally not fighting. This goes to show there's a lot of things in Paladins Battlegrounds that reward the aggressive play. You can hunt other players down. You know exactly where the airdrops are going to be, as well as you're not gaining passive ultimate charge. So if you want your biggest, baddest ability, you're going to have to fight for it, as well as the fact that you will not receive your out-of-combat regeneration if you're running away on your horse. You have to be 10 toes down to the battlefield to receive that.
And I do see some purple in the back, so it might be time to pick those up.
But look at this circle. I mean, the map is 300 times the size of a Paladins map, but it is quickly closing down.
Shrinking very quickly.
To a traditional, and you can see fog hovering.
Here's a Cassie with 2 legendaries.
Oh boy.
And I don't know what the legendaries are exactly.
That's the Motherlode, as well as the Eternal Plating. So it's got, on the Motherlode, we just talked about it, team of 4 versus 3 here. Good odds. 4,300, 4,400 life steal, additional health from other players. So you're looking at life rip, rejuvenate, as well as the fact that it just increases Cassie's base HP health to 4,400. The Motherlode, her offensive weapon slot items giving her plus 100% damage, anti-heal, damage to shields. It's all available for this Cassie. They do not have the means to fight this. This is an uphill battle, both literally and figuratively.
Cassie's like a mini tank right now.
She does have 40 and the 30% lifesteal. So if this squad doesn't have an anti-heal item in their weapon slot, she is going to have her way with them.
Well, the problem is
very careful about how they engage.
It is 2 versus 3, and we don't know.
Oh no, this was a 4v3 turned into a 4v2.
Well,
so
now that's a different team.
That's one off. Okay.
That's a 4-person
Well, we've only got 10 players remaining. This is a top 10 situation. The fog. Next play zone marked, closing in 23 seconds. They're looking for the pop shots here. This Cassie, she's going to have great chip damage as a result of that legendary weapon slot.
Look at those hits.
Big frag. 9 players remaining. Someone's gone down. A Buck found a pip somewhere off. 8 players remaining. People are starting to fall. That Ruckus is low HP. Turn into a chicken. But Cassie, prioritization here is important. She's not worried about those chickens. They'll die. They'll expire on their own. What happens if this fog touches the chickens?
Instant chicken death.
They cannot be picked up down, but not out. Turned to down for a good.
Look
quick
at
check
and
for
there
the loot. There it is.
The first win goes to team.
Those guys.
Those guys.
Those guys.